Hi, Lena. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I meet you today virtually in Amsterdam, or where in the Netherlands are you based?
Yeah, I'm in Amsterdam, born and raised, and I'm sitting outside now.
Perfect. Beautiful city of Amsterdam. So
Yeah.
we are here now to talk about CollAction a bit because you're a volunteer working for CollAction. Could you first explain a bit what CollAction is all about?
Yeah, so CollAction is an NGO from the Netherlands, and our goal is to change the world by setting up crowd acting campaigns. So instead of crowdfunding, where you ask for a lot of people to chip in some money, we ask people to chip in their actions so that we turn individual actions into collective actions and inspire political change. And it can be on any subject, so it can be from eating less meat to, well, buying less fashion for a month. And we do that because we really believe that if people act alone, they can feel like a drop in the ocean. But if they act together, we can really create waves of change. So that's
Mhm.
what we're all about.
And when did you start this thing? When did you start CollAction?
Yeah, so the CollAction was started 4 years ago by Ron and Spencer, and I got active for CollAction 2 months ago. I'm currently the director of CollAction, and we mainly work with NGOs. So we've been doing it for 4 years now with around 50 volunteers.
Mhm. Could you mention some of the projects that you're working on, or what kind of actions, or yeah, how should I say, what kind of initiatives or campaigns are you funding, or are you looking for people for supporting them?
Yeah, so what we do is we open up our platform for anyone who wants to start a crowd action. So one example that is currently active is the Minimal Waste Month. So that is started by a minimal waste blogger, and she asks her community to together focus a month and make their waste really to the minimum. And another action and a good example is in the past one I did myself, where I asked 189 people to stop flying for one summer.
Wow.
And I found that's exactly one airplane full of people. And so all of our actions are concrete examples of something you can do good,
Mhm.
and in which people can participate in a short amount of time. So those
Mhm.
are a bit, yeah, the
Okay.
examples.
You said initially that you're well, it's a not-for-profit organization, and it's not about funding in the sense that you want to make like loads of money. It's more like bringing people together. Still, of course, you need some money to do all the things you do. So how do you get supporters who also spend a bit of money and donate?
Yeah, yeah. So our platform is all about crowd acting, so not crowdfunding. But we are funded ourselves by some grants that we get, who believe in us because we are this new form of political engagement. And then we also ask for donations for the people who start actions and who participate in actions. And we were really lucky this year to have a bit of a bigger grant so that we could hire our first employees, of which I'm one. But we will always remain volunteer
Mhm.
heavy organization because we really believe in volunteers as well.
What brand is that? Can you mention that one, or is it top
Yeah, it's not a
secret?
brand, it's a grant. Yeah, yeah. So
Ah, sorry.
it's just
Okay. All right.
yeah. They want to
Okay.
be a private. They want to be a private investor. Yeah,
Okay, I see. I see. So we keep this
yeah.
like under the table, so but no problem.
Yeah.
As long as you can go on, that's fine. So you mentioned your initiatives go from food to traveling to
Yeah,
any kind of area, and of course we're mostly interested in fashion. So can you talk a
yeah.
bit about the current or upcoming fashion initiatives that you're working on, or maybe some experience you already gained with
Yeah.
fashion initiatives and crowd acting?
Yeah, so actually fashion is our biggest campaign. It also started as just one person starting a crowd action 3 years ago. So that person said, if I can find 2,500 people who together with me commit to buying no new clothes for the summer, then we all do it. And that was a big success. So the summer after, with a group of people, they said, if we find 10,000 people, we will do it. There was also a big success last summer because in the end, almost 15,000 people committed to not buying new fashion. And this year we set the goal even higher. So this year we're reaching for 25,000 people.
Wow.
And
Okay.
the idea is that if you take action with a group of people, if you say the whole summer we're going to make conscious choices, then it's not only easier because you can inspire each other and say, hey, these sustainable brands exist, these secondhand brands, this is where you can go. But it's also politically a bigger statement because one person saying no to fast fashion is one thing, but 25,000 people saying no to fast fashion is quite a big statement. And
Mhm.
that's what we're aiming for now. So we want to transform the fashion industry, by mobilizing consumers, mobilizing citizens to take distance from bad fashion, fast fashion, and support all those good brands that are making sustainable steps and secondhand brands.
Wouldn't it be the best though to say, okay, don't buy any fashion at all? Wouldn't that be the most clear statement in terms of, you know, saving the environment and being sustainable?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like the past 2 seasons, we said no new clothes for the summer, but this year, because of the Corona crisis, we also heard from a lot of sustainable brands how they are extra suffering and how it's harder for them to survive. And we really want to support those who are kind of leading the transition to a new sustainable fashion industry. So this year we said, instead of no new fashion, we said make conscious choices, because that's in the end what we hope, that customers make conscious choices, but that also brands start making more conscious choices. That's why we also want to support the small and local sustainable brands. And now with Black Lives Matter erupting and talking to a lot of our Black influencers, we also heard this call, can you go start supporting Black-owned businesses? So that's something we also include to say, hey, it's not a no to everything, it's yes to certain things, so that these can grow and so that we can make more space for them in the fashion industry.
Okay. But how do you bring the message across? Like, what is your communication like? How do you, of course, we're doing this interview now, so of course we hope that many people will stream it and will get the message. I just hooked up for the Slow Fashion Initiative, me personally, and I shared it on LinkedIn, but still, what do you do? I mean, I know this is like, there's so many things going on in social media. How do you stand out? How do you manage?
Yeah, so our strategy is different, I think, than from a lot of NGOs, because we really work mainly with influencers. Our goal is not to have the biggest channel ourselves, but to build up a network of influencers and ambassadors around the world. So last week, we had our first call with the global ambassador team. We have around 50 ambassadors from, well, Pakistan and India to Indonesia, United States, a lot in Europe as well, Nigeria now as well. And then together with these ambassadors, we think, how can they reach out to their communities and inspire local change? So it's a very distributed network. And then we also work with influencers. So those are people from around 1,000 followers up. So anyone who likes sustainable fashion, who already has a community on that, we ask them, hey, we share the same ideals, we share the same vision. Would you be happy to promote this campaign to your community? And we find that actually for a lot of influencers, this is also a nice chance for them, because sometimes they operate a bit more alone and they love being part of this network of people around the world promoting change. So we have the distributed social media and Instagram focused tactics, but we now also start to do more with LinkedIn, because we see actually that a lot of professionals are also getting more interested in these types of activism that is very concrete and also focused on a constructive and positive change.
Could I apply to become an ambassador? Not me personally, but in general, is this like an option for you that I could write your mail and say, hi, Lena, I saw you online and, you know, now I want to become an ambassador because I'm so interested in sustainable fashion?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Anyone can apply to become an ambassador, and we welcome most people. We just do a check with everyone. So we plan in Zoom calls. Like, we have an amazing ambassador lead, Emily, in Taiwan, and she checks with everyone. Are you really motivated? And what do you bring in? Can you commit?
Okay.
And then we just start working together. So almost anyone can become an ambassador. You just do need the commitment and the deep passion for the topic. That's very important.
You mentioned a bit earlier that, of course, and we also have to talk about this, obviously, the COVID-19 crisis, which affects so many smaller businesses, especially also in the fashion world, but not only, but of course also in the fashion world. What are the challenges you are dealing with in those 4 years that CollAction is running now?
Yeah, so I think definitely one of the challenges that COVID brought up is the fact that we had to adapt our message. Like, CollAction was always founded on this idea that you have to make change and personal change very concrete and very simple. So we don't say, oh, the capitalism has to fall or change. We say, one summer, no flying, or one summer, no new clothes. And now with COVID, we realized that message wouldn't do respect to the changes that are needed right now, which also includes supporting sustainable companies. So I would definitely say that is a challenge for us, but I also think we found a way by focusing on conscious choices. And I think another challenge is, and I think that's a challenge that actually a lot of NGOs and movements are dealing with, is how do you do respect to the intersectionality and like all these different connections between topics. fashion is a concrete topic, but under fashion are of course also structures of racism, colonialism, inequality, the patriarchy. How do we connect them, but also keep this constructive, positive, simple message, because that's what our community loves and that's what we believe in. And that's what we're working on now by creating very simple Instagram posts explaining these concepts, hereby also introducing people to the bigger movements that are working on this. So we see ourselves as one part in a bigger ecosystem of movements where we focus on the concrete actions, and we can forward people to other places to maybe get some more political activism or research, to partner institutes that work with companies. So that's how we solve that challenge.
Okay. Well, my generation, and I think you're a bit younger than I am, but still also your generation, I think we're kind of used to consumption and all of that. So how do you think in the long run, can you or we all together make a change happen and change this idea that we're used to, that consumption is just, it's like a hobby, it's just, like a spare time thing. And it's so deep down in our personalities, I think. So don't you see, or yeah, how do you want to change that basically?
Yeah, I really like what I saw in my own life is that when I tried to make changes myself, so for example, when I wanted to become vegan for the first time, it was quite a hard battle, not just with me, but actually with the people around me. Because sometimes I did my best, but then my friends cooked something different from me. So that's why we really believe in the social effects of change. Most of us human beings exist because we love other people, and we do what we do because the people around us do the same. And that's why we want to use this principle of crowd acting to stimulate people in a positive way, and to make use of this peer pressure that is now maybe telling people, buy more, do more, you're not good enough. To say, hey, you are good enough, you can do a lot, you can live with less and be still be happy. See all of these influencers, see all of these ambassadors that are living that for you. So the same principles that inspire us to consume more, we want to use to inspire people to consume less and different and better.
Okay, perfect. Sounds excellent. Lena, it was so nice talking to you.
Yeah.
I think it's a great initiative, and I should not, advertise for anything, but in this sense, I think I would say I have to change that and say, please join CollAction, join the Slow Fashion Initiative. I think it's really doing something good in a very easy and, not complicated way at all. So good luck, and yeah, hope to see you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Nice meeting you. Ciao.
Nice meeting you. Bye-bye.